Good morning, this is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing, continuing with the mostly cloudy skies out there this morning with mainly high clouds around the area. Temperatures just into the 40s so far, and seeing those slight winds out of the northeast. And overall, should see a fairly quiet weather day today with mainly high clouds lingering around the area. We'll see those start to thin out as we go into the evening time frame. It will once again see a chance for some patchy fog around the area as we get into tomorrow morning. Looking at the current surface analysis, high pressure and control over the region as this boundary uh, off to our south. That's where most of the cloud cover is riding along and just over the local area, but should see things dry and quiet as we move through the day today. If we look at the current visible satellite, we can see those clouds streaming through the area again. These are mainly high clouds, and that will be the case as we move through the morning, and should see those continue to thin out as we move through the afternoon and into the evening time frame, setting up for a mostly clear evening this evening. If we look at the high resolution model, as mentioned, not expecting any wet weather or any kind of precipitation pushing through the area, and just those high clouds continuing through, and we'll see those start to move out of the area as we go through the overnight time frame, but we'll have that chance for some patchy fog as we get into the early morning hours and to start today on Saturday. And then the weekend does look to continue to be quiet and dry with some fairly mild temperatures back into the mid to upper 50s on Saturday, and then continuing in the 50s on Sunday, with a chance for some patchy fog again early Sunday morning. And then we'll have a boundary approaching the area later in the day on Sunday, and that's going to bring a chance for some slightly breezy winds, but it does look dry at this time. If we zoom out, look at the European model here, we see that boundary on the approach as we move through Sunday. As mentioned, we'll see some mild temperatures early in the day and could see a cool down as this boundary pushes through later in the day, and maybe some slightly breezy winds, maybe even a wind advisory possible later in the day with that boundary sinking into the area, and some slightly cooler temperatures as we move into the start of the week next week. We will continue to watch this system as it approaches the region later in the day on Monday. As you can see, have seen a somewhat drying trend with this, and still looks fairly marginal temperature-wise of any significant snow, but it does look like we'll see a chance of some rain, possibly mixing with snow, but not expecting any significant accumulation with this as we move through this time period at this time. But we will continue to track as we move over the weekend, and we see that system lift north as a warm boundary, and we'll continue to see a boundary lingering over the region as we move into Tuesday, possibly sinking down, bringing a few chances of some rain showers late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, and then we'll see that boundary once again lift back northward as we get into the later portion of the week. And this is when we're going to move into quite a mild temperature period with some fairly nice temperatures back up into the upper 50s and into the 60s as we round out the end of the week. So looking at the 24-hour weather risk chart for today, we do expect green conditions as we move through the working hours today. We'll see winds out of the northeast to east-northeast around 6 to 11 knots, with our high temperature peaking around 48 degrees. And as mentioned, we'll keep that ceiling around 25,000 feet as we move through the morning, and we'll see those high clouds start to break up a bit as we get into the afternoon. Seeing mostly clear skies overnight, weak winds becoming light and variable. We'll see that low temperature dropping down to around 34 degrees. It's going to introduce a yellow risk for some reduced ceilings and visibilities with the chance for some patchy fog around the area, but otherwise things looking fairly quiet through the night. Tides running half a foot above normal. And looking at the weekend forecast, as mentioned, looking fairly nice. We will see daily chances of some patchy fog early in the morning for both Saturday and Sunday, but we'll see mostly sunny skies, mild temperatures in the mid-50s, possibly into the upper 50s for Saturday, and into the mid to lower 50s for Sunday, and then again slightly breezy later in the day on Sunday. Introduce that 60% chance of some rain and possibly mixing with snow late on Monday into early Tuesday morning. That we see a break, and then another chance for some rain as we get later in the day on Tuesday, giving that about 30% chance at this time. But it does look like it will stay mostly cloudy as we move through the time period, and temperatures looking fairly marginal for Monday to see any significant frozen precip. So we'll see those temperatures rebounding as we get into the middle portion of the week, and as we get into the later portion of the week, does look like we'll see those temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and above 60 to round out the end of the work week. That's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again on Monday at 8:15 at 10 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.